We have legendary Aniak guide Tyler, and he's going to walk us through some of the flies that you use to get the trout and the other fish here on the Aniak River.
Okay, so right now it's early August, and the salmon are really in the river heavy right now, doing a lot of their spawning activity. So a lot of what we're using to catch the trout here are these egg patterns. We throw beads in different sizes and colors depending on the salmon species. So right here is a 10 millimeter Chum Egg. It's these orange beads here. We put a little white paint on there to model it and make it look a little more realistic. The way you run these is with an egg hook on the bottom, and you have to peg your bead above that egg hook so that when they eat it, the hook will get them in the side of the mouth instead of them swallowing the hook and killing themselves. But that's the rig right there. Really hot item. We've got some king spawning going on here. So that's the king egg. It's a little bigger and it's red. This is a 12 millimeter. And once those eggs hatch, they come out as smolt. So the smolt pattern's really hot right now. And these are basically just little bait fish, minnows and things. And they're a good one for when the spawn is dying out, or if you're fishing in and around a spawn, because they'll hatch and go into cover. The trout will go in and forage for them. Another good one is the leech. The lampreys come in here to spawn, and the fish that get affected by these most are the trout and dollies. They get really fed on by these, so they don't like them around, so they hit them pretty vigorously. So this is just kind of a big black leech, more or less. And we've got some mouse patterns. This is a hot one here in Aniak because you can get some rainbows on the mouse. It's got some teeth marks in there. It's been used before. But these are a good one. Early and late season mostly, but they'll work all year round in the right conditions. But those are a fun one. Like the mouse pattern a lot.
What are the right conditions for the mouse?
You've got to have trout in some low, clear water, places they can see it easily, and a lot of times it's places where there's not an easier food source. If there's eggs dropping and they can just swim over and eat those, it takes a lot less energy than coming up and trying to hammer a mouse. But they're a big meal, a lot of calories there. They'll hit them pretty readily. When the salmon start dying, they'll hold on their beds, lay their eggs, and then they'll exhaust themselves to death. And they tumble downstream and get caught up in the sticks. So then we've got the flesh fly, and these are just swung through the water to look like a piece of dead meat. But the trout really like these ones. That's a big meal for when the salmon leave, especially. A lot of dead salmon in the water, so flesh to feed on.
Do you just dead drift those, or can you strip them as well?
You can dead drift them, you can strip them. The fish here aren't too picky, so you don't have to give a perfect presentation all the time. Sometimes it's just a matter of getting the right pattern in their face. And this is kind of a combination of patterns. This is the egg-sucking flesh dolly llama. And it's a big one. It's got the modeled 10 millimeter bead on there, big cone head to drop it down. Got some flesh colors in there. So this could be, an egg if they want to eat that, flesh if they want to eat that. It'll look like a bait fish if you strip it. This one's a really good one for if you're trying to cover a lot of water in different situations. And then if you're looking to catch salmon instead of trout or dollies, we've got the salmon flies, and they're just a big pink ugly fly. Strip those in front of their face and they'll come and hit it. The salmon don't really care about the pattern. They're not in here feeding. They're just hitting things out of aggression. So all the little forage fish that'll eat their eggs and their smolt get hammered on. So you just give them a bright colored fly that looks like something they'd want to hit, and they go in there and try to kill it. You get a good hookup ratio on those. And there's a few more flies out there, but these are really what you need to get it done on the Aniak, especially this time of year. Well, really this is all you need. The bead. But here and there you'll come into some different scenarios where you need something a little different.
Okay.
And then you can run a combination of patterns sometimes too. A little steak and eggs, you put the the flesh fly on with a bead above it. Give them the best of both worlds. Or you can run a egg-sucking smolt. Give them the best of both worlds there. The smolt, once they hatch out of their beds, they're at a stage called the alvin, which is a smolt with an egg sac on the bottom. So if you put your egg in front of the smolt pattern, that'll help out get some hookups sometimes, gives them a little different look, especially if you're fishing an old spawn. But yeah, that's about what you need. So if you come on out, bring your beads, bring your flesh, and we're gonna have a good time.
All right, great. You guys provide all that stuff too, right? If
Oh,
people don't have
absolutely, absolutely. We tie all our own flies. We have our own beads, but we'll tie anything on you want to throw.
All right, great. And what's your favorite part of the fishery here in the Aniak?
It's definitely the lack of pressure. These fish here don't see a lot of anglers, so they'll pretty readily eat what you put in front of them. And there's a really good quality of rainbow trout here, and that's what I'm after. I'm a trout guy, and they really get me going.
All right.
Love those rainbows.
Great. Thanks, Tyler.
Yeah.